Ready? What's up?
Well, some of these guys might want to talk about football, but I want to ask you about this video that's making the rounds on Twitter. Walking out of a massage parlor with a big grin on your face. What were you thinking?
That's not that what that was about. I think that was taken out of context, just like you're taking it out of context and trying to make it a story for yourself, which has a negative connotation to it, which I don't appreciate. It was meant to be something different than that. Um, so the fact that it's a distraction or you're bringing it up is not something I want to be talking about. Um, so
It's not just me. I mean, the USA Today, which is pretty mainstream, says Patriots QB Tom Brady spoofs Robert Kraft with a cameo at massage parlor. So I mean, it's not just.
I think it's just again, I think it's this type of media atmosphere that you create. Um, the blame and shame media atmosphere that's kind of percolated for a while. I think there's a lot of things that are said that are taken out of context that you choose to make a headline of, as opposed to understand what it's actually about. Have you seen it?
I've seen this. I understand the background of it, and I
Have you seen
understand the
it?
context. Yes, I have.
You see it,
I've seen the context.
and that's what it was about.
No, I know that it wasn't.
Okay, so it wasn't about that, except you want to try to use something and use it as to take it out of context. Is that what you choose to do
But
in the media?
When did you shoot it? Could you not?
That's
know?
what we do try to do.
If you shot
Okay.
it, in the last year, though, wouldn't you know that it might be construed that way?
No, it was shot on a green screen. It was agreed to a year ago. It was written 4 years ago, and I think, again, it's unfortunate that people would choose to think I would ever do something like that about Mr. Kraft, or I think that's a very just a very bad assessment of my relationship with him. I would never do that.
Since it came out, have you explained that to him or gotten the word
No,
out?
I think everybody knows what our relationship's about. For 20 years, it's nothing but love and respect. Been through a lot of tough things with him, and I love him dearly. I sympathize with a lot of things that he's gone through in his life. So I empathize with a lot of people that get taken advantage of and used, and understand that that's just part of what we're living in, and
So was there a
that's
point?
what it's about.
Was there a
Anyone
point
else got any
Tom,
questions?
Tom, you've had this time off, and obviously it's a good quality time to kind of reboot and recharge. Do you worry about any rust as you go into these games,
On a Monday night game?
your Monday night games?
Not
Just the
too-
game in general, because you've had 11 days off, so to speak.
I think we're trying to. I think you're always trying to get out there. We've had 11 days and we've had 4 practices, so I feel like we're ready to go. Been a tough week. Guys have grinded through it, and trying to go out there and have a great night. They're going to test us.
Sure.
They're a good defense, very physical. Played well at home against Dallas last week, so it's going to be a big challenge.
With the injury to Mahomes on Thursday, what do you do to try to avoid similar type injuries in those quarterback sneak plays?
Pliability, man. So I work on every day.
Is
So
that just the freak thing that kind of happens? I don't know if so.
getting injured?
No, the injury to Mahomes specifically.
I mean, it's football. It's a contact sport, so guys get hurt all the time. I think that's the nature of a physical sport, whether it's football or, you run around. It's part of it. So just got to do the best you can to try to avoid getting injured, but sometimes you can't.
Is there something you're looking for pre-snap when you are doing a sneak or something like that? To anything you're reading so you know where to go?
I'm just trying to get the first down, if that's what it's got to be. I try to get as many yards as I can, so try to go to the soft spot of the defense, and just try to get as many as I can.
Do you like that?
Belichick's getting up there win-wise total. He's reaching some pretty impressive numbers. What impresses you the most, or what do you think makes him one of the best to do this?
I think his just consistency, dependability. I think all the things we talk about in a great player, I think it's the same thing as in a great coach. And I think his dependability, his consistency, what he brings to work every day, and his commitment to our team. I don't think you can ask for anything more than that as a player. And he's got great competitive stamina. And, in my view, he's the greatest coach of all time. So it's a privilege to play for him. And, just to see him get all these wins, he certainly deserves it.
Competitive stamina? Tell me more about that competitive stamina. Like, how would you define
Yeah. Well, you got to bring it every day. I think this is kind of the time of the year after 6 weeks where people start getting a little fatigued. You get a little tired. You think, oh, this is. You guys probably feel that too a little bit. You start getting a little tired, and you take a little shortcut, and you don't quite work as long. Or that's the same for the players. You get a little tired during the week, so you study a little less. You don't watch as much film, or you don't go as hard in practice. And I think if you do that, you shortcut yourself. So, and then you shortcut the team. And I think this team has always done a good job pushing through those moments, those opportunities, and you just keep grinding. And I think that's a word we use around here a lot. And you try to do the best you can do every day.
You like the atmosphere of these high-energy road games, Tom? With Monday night, Boston, New York, the rivalries, whether it be football or baseball or anything. These games seem to have a lot of high energy. Do you love this atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, Monday Night Football is great. It's only once a year that we get to do it, and I think with the Thursday night games now, it's taken maybe a little steam out of that Sunday night games and so forth, but it's still a special night, and we get a little extra time to prepare, but they're going to be ready to go. They got a big physical defensive front, very aggressive coaches, coaches that have coached against us quite a few times, so they'll be fired up and ready to go.
Tom, in that Week 3 game, was it? Was it more in that second half, more about adjustments they made against your offense, or more about maybe players you were missing in the second half?
The first game?
Yeah.
That hurt us. When Julian went out, I mean, we had to kind of readjust everything that we were doing because, he's kind of the one that has a lot of roles and responsibilities. So that's just part of football. I think that's the big challenge is week to week, guys being injured and they come in and out and so forth. And then when you lose guys during the game, you just kind of scramble to make it happen and switch some things around there at the end. So.
Do you spend any time researching the officiating crews prior to the game? Because this Sean Hockey's 37 flags walked off in the last 2 games. Do you have any preconceived notions before you go to the game as how?
Coach talks about that. He talks about how kind of what they call and so forth. This particular crew may call a lot of holdings or a lot of defensive pass penalties. So we do discuss that. I mean, once you get out there, I think you do business as business is being done. Sometimes they call it a little tighter. Sometimes they let you play a little bit. But, in football, there's kind of penalties on every play. It's just a matter of whether they call them or not. And so you just got to, if they're calling them tight, then you just got to be cognizant of that.
Do you have, as the game begins, and you see a couple flags like, oh, it's going to release nights? Sometimes.
I think that happens. It's probably middle of second quarter you start to feel that. If there start to be a lot of penalties there in the first quarter, then your game gets a little slower. But, you feel it.
Coming to trust Gunner more in the offense?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're like I said, those guys are, when you're young, you gain trust in practice. And a lot of it's doing the right thing over and over and over again. Those guys are working at it. I mean, they've been here a short period of time. So try to get as many reps as you can and talk about things. You get coached up, and any young player, they're trying to earn the trust of the coaches and the players every day.
How much was it just trial by fire in that last game where they were pretty much there for the whole second half, the rookies?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Jacoby or just playing out there for them. You had only one set.
Yeah, you get a lot of confidence, and especially when they make a couple plays. And I think they start believing they can do it too. So I think it's a good thing to have happen. And Gunner's been out there on punt returns, so it's not like he hasn't played much, but certainly at receiver, it's been a little bit new. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love Ben. Thank you guys.